welcome to this just special moment on the Wayne Hall Show. We heard last night that we lost. Well, we heard that overnight we lost a legend in reggae, Mr. Bob Andy. And who better, ladies and gentlemen, to have to discuss this with than the ER, the Entertainment Report guru himself, Mr. Anthony Turner, and myself in a Zoom conversation using up the stay at home and the distance, the social distancing technology. Anthony, how are you?
Yeah, man, everything is good. How are you doing in Atlanta?
We're hanging in there. The count number is rising. The actions, are being restricted more and more. School is out officially until the 24th of April, when I guess another decision will be made. So we're hanging in there. It's a shelter-in-place status right now, and we know. Should I ask you about New York, man? Ground zero.
Yes, I'm sure you've heard that New York, the numbers are increasing, but as the governor said, it's getting to a little better place because the rate of that people are getting getting infected is actually going down, which is great. So I think some of the measures that he instituted last week are actually working, and as we had said to you previously, something that we really need to. The shelter in home is something that worked in China, and I think it's working in other places. In Jamaica it worked, and clearly New York it's gonna work here. So we just have to do what we have to do. As I say, you have to stay home now to be able to go out later. If you go out now, then you're going to be home later. So
exactly. The more we do now to restrict that contact and spread, the shorter the duration will stay locked. Yes, definitely. Yeah.
But as you said, we are here really because of the passing of a legend. And
yes.
Bob Andy is certainly one of the great legends of our time. In terms of, I would say he's one of the greatest lyricists that has ever come out of Jamaica. He has written some of the most iconic songs over the years, and so much so that when you think of a song like A Fire Burning, and there's another song that Barrington Levy recorded, and when you talk to some of the young people away, they actually think that song was recorded by what's his name, Barrington Levy.
Right.
But it really was a great song that the great Bob Andy recorded from back in the 60s. So
yes,
he's definitely a legend. And just to share some of my own experiences about Bob Andy. When I think about songs, as I said, Fire Burning, that's a big song that he recorded. And there are some other big ones. I Don't Want to Go Back Home is another big song that Bob Andy recorded. And Young, Gifted and Black, that was recorded from back in the 60s with the great Queen of Reggae, Marcia Griffiths, is another legendary song. But the first time I actually met Bob Andy was back in the 70s. I was a youngster in Jamaica. I was living with the Simpsons, and Gloria Simpson, her boyfriend at the time, Basil Dawkins, who went on to become a legendary playwright.
Yes.
He was just at the time becoming an actor and a playwright. And this was a time when Bob Andy had actually taken a little break from music. He had just done a movie, Children of Babylon, which was a huge success in Jamaica.
Right.
And at the time, I guess he was kind of focusing more on acting. And I had an opportunity to meet him back in those days. It wasn't really a long meeting, just had a chance to meet him in person, and But the second time I really had an opportunity to meet him was back in the 90s. This time I just graduated from college and was on a special project in Canada. And my good friend who passed away, Mr. Carl Mullins, introduced me to Bob, and so I had many opportunities to talk to Bob Andy back then, and always a very engaging, entertaining personality, always very easy to talk to, and he would talk to me about music and about the fact that everybody really wanted him to do all of those big songs that he knew. that he had performed and recorded, but he said, well, I'm a musician, I'm a singer, and I'm always writing, so it would be
Yeah.
nice to be able to perform some of those songs. So that was the second time. And the other time I had an opportunity to work with him was at Grooving in the Park, because the same, I think it was 2014, was when Marcia celebrated her 50th anniversary, and she had put together a list of artists that she wanted to work with, and of course, Bob Andy was one of those. And John Holt was supposed to be on the show, Tony Gregory, and a host of others. And as it turns out, John Holt became sick and was unable to perform. So people like Ken Booth came in, Barrington Levy, and a host of others, and really had an opportunity to work with him. This was his very first live performance at an outdoor event in New York, and it turned out to be a great performance.
Yeah, yeah. The great grooving, huh? Very interesting.
Absolutely, and he actually wanted to come back to grooving to play as a solo artist, because, as I said at the time, it was part of Marcia Griffith's 50th anniversary, and he had expressed on a number of occasions that he really would love to come back to New York, because he was really appreciative of how he was treated by the grooving executive and the grooving team, and having the opportunity to perform with Marcia and his friends, he really enjoyed the moment and really wanted to come back, and unfortunately we lost him. So we're not gonna have that opportunity.
That's right. Born Keith Anderson on October 28, 1944. Keith Anderson, known as Bob Andy. I almost said Bob Marley. Known as Bob Andy, ladies and gentlemen. And here we are, just paying tribute with the ER guru, using up our social distancing technology. So if you just joined us, it's Anthony Turner. He's on the burner in New York, and this is Wayne Hall in Atlanta. And we're talking and just reflecting on the great gift that we had in reggae music in person of Bob Andy. I didn't meet him, Anthony, until he was pretty much, it was just a few years ago that I had the pleasure of. And just the humility and the willingness to work with the young people around him was what got my attention. So I don't have much of a Bob Andy story, other than as a little boy, I danced and got some of that music growing up, and my daddy would kill it, and we would all be in the house, singing and dancing rocksteady reggae. Yeah.
One thing I wanted to say also, that Bob was actually one of the founding members of the Paragons. And when you talk about the Paragons, that's one of the iconic groups out of Jamaica.
Yes.
Of course, John Holt, most people remember he was one of the lead singers. Mr. Howie Barrett, another one of the founding members of the Paragons. You had Howie Barrett. He was another founding member. And the irony of all of this, Wayne, is that I actually used to, before Dennis Brown passed away in 1999, July 1999, I was working at a company in New York City, and Howie was also at the company. I knew he was Jamaican, but really didn't know much about him. And
right.
The day when Dennis passed away, we were talking on the phone, and I was telling him, I said, "Oh, did you hear about Dennis Brown, that he passed away?" And he said, "Yeah, man, I know Dennis very well. I used to work with him, man."
Yeah.
In fact, when Dennis was a little boy, I used to put him on a speaker box and let him perform. So I know Dennis. And so I was saying, "So where you know Dennis from?" Him said, "Well, I used to sing to, I used to do a little thing." And then he proceeded to tell me that he was a founding member of the Paragons. And I can tell you, when I started to share the information with other co-workers, because nobody at the company knew anything about Howie, that he had a history as this iconic singer. And I remember telling one of my Asian friends, I said, "Do you know Howie? That Howie is a former singer." Yeah. And went online and found a picture with the album, and the Tide is High, which, as you know, was a great song that Paragon recorded. They couldn't believe, and Howie, of course, worked very closely with Bob Andy over the years, and
right.
So there are many stories. I mean, when you talk to Copeland Forbes, historian,
yes.
and one of the most toured artist manager, those guys have a lot of story to tell about Bob Andy.
Yes. yes, yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us, Wayne Hall, Anthony Turner, your e-report guru. We are reflecting on the life of Mr. Bob Andy, Keith Anderson, who we lost overnight. Um, I know that the entire reggae fraternity right now is mourning Anthony because a big icon has moved.
Yeah, man, and Marcia Griffiths, as we said, they had that young gifted and back that was an iconic song from back in the 60s, and that was kind of what put Marcia on the map. They sang as Marcia, I think it was Bob and Marcia, and I think both of them had a relationship at the time. And Marcia, of course, was a lot younger than Bob, and Bob had taken her under his wings during those early days, and they had major success with that song. And he went on to write a lot of songs for a lot of other artists. You talk about Ken Boothe, he wrote songs for Ken Boothe and a host of other artists. So he has really established himself as one of the most celebrated songwriters out of Jamaica. And I'm just a little bit concerned because with this coronavirus, I was just talking to somebody and they were saying that, boy, I was actually talking to Richie Stevens, and he was saying, boy, they're not even sure how this whole, if there will be any opportunity to do any tribute concert or even for the burial that, with the social distancing, it's limited to just 20 people in Jamaica. So that they may have to schedule some sort of remembrance or memorial for him once all of this is done.
It might be a virtual one. It might be that everybody just suit up where you are. We zoom in like we're doing right now, Anthony, and just let us have our little Bob Andy tribute. Who knows? And then the funeral. It's such a different day, man. So much has been impacted by this pandemic, and it's not a happy time. I don't know. Is it good to be born now? Is it good to die now? It's hard to live, but just a tough time.
Yes. And of course, we lost one of the original members of Israel Vibration just a few days ago. So
right.
Sad times, and we're losing some of our legends.
That's right. Well, Anthony, I appreciate you, man, taking the time to zoom in on this hot headline today in the world of reggae. And as always, I appreciate your feedback. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add.
Well, I just wanted to let people know that why I made the appeal again that it's critically important that we adhere to this. Stay home if you're working and you can work from home. Stay home. There should be no parties or anything like that because we have to put the work in now to benefit later. And we have to reduce those numbers because when you talk to people in the medical field, they tell you that a lot of the hospitals are being exhausted with people who need treatment, and we're not even talking about people who getting sick regularly. Remember, people get sick and have to go to hospital on a regular basis, and compound that with all of the new patients that are coming in for coronavirus. So just stay home, do what you can to help.
That's right. And I couldn't say that any better myself. Mr. Anthony Turner, thank you very much, sir, joining us from New York City, ground zero pandemic, but to reflect on the life and what he recalls so vividly of Keith Anderson, known as Bob Andy, leaving us last night. Anthony Turner, thanks again, man.
All right, you take care and just be safe and look forward to talking to you soon.
All right, Anthony Turner, you take care. Thanks.
I've got to go back home. This couldn't be my home. It must be somewhere else, or I would kill myself. 'Cause I can't get no clothes to wear, can't get no food to eat, I can't get a job to get bread. That's why I've got to go back home. If I've got to go, I've got to go but sadness. Nothing like a future here.